crochet curly Q twist, and so I'm attaching a slip knot to the crochet hook. So I'm just looping this over, and then I grab the center like this, stick my hook through here like that, and I'm going to make about a chain of 15 or 16. This one's not going to be very long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now this is perfect for tentacles. If you want to make tentacles on an octopus or on a jellyfish. Okay, so we're gonna start off now. This one's nice and tight too, so what I'm gonna do is just work over the whole chain and work double crochet. Now if you want smaller ones, you can do half double crochet, but I'm just gonna start making double crochet around the whole thing. And so this is how I'm going to add them on here, just like this. So when I get to about 10 or so, I'm just going to start pushing them tighter together. That's what I'm going to do. So you can see it kind of starting to curl by itself anyway. Now we're just going to pull it tight over here. This makes it really, really nice if you don't want to add a pipe cleaner. You don't have to add a pipe cleaner in this one. Now the other ones I've done before, I've added a pipe cleaner and another color, for example, making the candy canes. Well, with the candy canes, you would want a pipe cleaner in there. Most definitely. You'd want a pipe cleaner in there. Okay, so we're pushing it this direction like this, pulling it in here tight. So I'm just working double crochet around the chain, and it makes it nice and sturdy. Really, really nice and sturdy. Okay. So I'm going to pull it over here like this. Okay, so I'm going to start shaping it now, just like this. So you can see we've already got a good start here. So I'm going to keep working around the chain. I'm just working double crochet around the chain to make the curly Q. Makes it nice and tight. And nice and tight and stiff, related to if it's something that you want. Okay, let's pull this down. We'll pull it around like that. And so we're just twisting it like that. And so it fills it in really, really nice, and then it holds its shape too. So it's a little bit different than the ones that I've done in the past using acrylic yarn. I am using t-shirt yarn with this one, and so I just work maybe about 10, anywhere from 7 to 10. Just like this. And then I just pull it down like that. Now you can have it wavy like that too, if you want to do jellyfish tentacles, octopus, however you want to do them. But this one I'm just twisting in one direction, so you could use this for a candy cane. If you want to make a holiday candy cane. The thing I would recommend though is adding a second color and twisting them together. But do you see how this is nice and very sturdy as far as that goes, related to making a twist here. And these are also popular for hair, if you want to add them into hair. Oh no, we've got a little... See how this thread is twisting up? This is another one we'll have to do in the future, how to make the twist. Oh, this one right here, we'll have to do that twist. But that's for another video. even though it's doing it by itself in this video because we've got the yarn kind of twisting upon itself. So I'm just gonna work it in with the twists like this. Like that. And then pull it in tight like that. And then twist it around this direction. We're twisting it, twisting, twisting, just like that. See how nice and solid that is? This makes a really, really good. Yeah, there is enough room there. But it makes it nice and solid, crocheting over the chain. And that's what we're doing, is working a crochet over the chain. We're working a crochet over the chain. And there might be other things you might want to use this for too. Actually, I'm just thinking of something right now. It would be sort of cool. I think I could get this to work if let's see, if I made it long enough. I'm just thinking out loud here right now. If I made it long enough and I made a circle like this and then crochet. Oh my gosh. That's really pretty too. A little star, a little flower, a little star. That's what happens when I think out loud. I was just thinking out loud related to turning it into like a granny square or something. And you know what? I think I just might do that at some point, or I'm going to have enough here to actually turn this into a flower, I think. Now this is going to be kind of a fun flower. I'm going to get it, I guarantee you I'm going to get this in here somehow. I'm going to turn it into a flower. Let's see here. We're going to twist, twist, twist. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to try to get like 8. 8 twists I think would be good. And then see what we come up with. We're going to come up with a flower. It would actually work on a Christmas tree too, a little tiny Christmas tree ornament. Am I running out of space here? Nope, not yet. Okay. Now I'm going to pull this in here tight like that. Then I'm going to twist, 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 twist like that. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot, actually. Okay, let me add just a little bit more. And so what I would do is actually sew these ends together like this to make the flower. I would match them up is what I would do. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pull these in like this and then twist it up a little bit more. Okay, let's pull this in and then twist it up like that. Okay, so now where would I attach these to? Where would I attach them to? Yeah, we're kind of like this. I think that adding this right here. Let's see here. I'm gonna attach this in together just like that. And then I'm gonna attach it down here just with a little slip stitch, and I want to see what I've got here. Well, that does work. This part I would need to work on a little bit better than what I have right here. So what I'll do is pull this apart and actually twist it a little bit more. Yeah. So this is what I will do just to kind of get it together a little bit more. I'll just keep twisting it tighter like that, and then bring these around like this, and then I will attach them together like this. Right like that. And then kind of, oh, there, that worked. Yeah, that kind of blends it all together like that and turn it into a circle. So now we've got kind of a little flower thing going on here too. That's sort of cool. Now this would work over a small ponytail or something, or just a little ornament. Christmas wreath, if you want a tiny Christmas wreath. I know I didn't use a very good Christmas color, but this color shows nice and bright, so you can see how you can make a little tiny Christmas wreath, holiday wreath, sun catcher if you want to hang something in your window, or off of a barrette if you have a daughter, or you know, the other thing. This is what I was thinking. Let me show you here real quick. Okay, where are you at? I don't want to pull you apart. Oh no, I did. That's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was pull this together like this, and then kind of show how I could turn this into a square. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and so it's going to be kind of thick. But I just thought this would be sort of fun to show how to work this into a granny square. So 1, 2, 3, we'll do 1, 2, and then we'll work 3 stitches in the same 1, 2, and hang on a second. And number 3, just like that. And so I'll work a chain 1. And so then I'm going to kind of skip over here a little bit. I'm going to try and do this as even as I can. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to turn this thing into a square. You watch. Chain 1, and we're going to work over here. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, chain 2. I know right now it might look like a funny square, and then we're working 1, 2, and 3. Okay, do you see we've already got a good start to a square right here? I bet you thought I couldn't do it, right? Chain 1. And then we're going to skip over 1, 2. This is our third corner. 1, 2. Oh no, this isn't our corner. This is actually our flat spot. Maybe I should have not went over so far. Okay, I'm going to pull that out. Okay, where do I need to go in here? Let's go in right here. We need to do our flat spot, our single set of stitches, 2 and 3, and chain 1, Oopsie. And now we're going to go in right about here, and then we're going to do our corner. So I've got 1, 2. Okay, yeah, we're going to do an increase right here. 2, 3, chain 2, and in the same space we're going to do 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. So just so you know, this is one of these tiny, what is this? It's just called yarn, and it's 0.88 ounces, 25 grams. Yeah, made in China. And so it's going to use up just about the whole thing. Now I use this over and over again to teach stitches because it's nice to work with and it shows up well on camera. Okay, so now we're doing our flat side here. 1, 2, and 3. I am here. I do see the comments. Hello, who are we looking at here? Anderson Maria Anderson. Hello. So we have got 3, chain 1, and now we are working on a, let's see, right about here. Oh, no, we're not going to go in right about there. We're going to go in right about here for, oh, we just did the flat one. We're working on, I need to do a corner now. Okay, so I've got 3, 1, 2, 3. I've got a flat side here. Now I need to do a corner, which is an increase to get our corner. 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, chain 2, and then 1, 2, and 3 right here, chain 1, and then we're going to go in right here for our last flat spot. 1 and 2 and 3, chain 1, and then slip stitch. And look at what we have here. Isn't that pretty cool? Now I kind of messed up a little bit right here because I've got more curly Q right here than I do over here. So I would actually need to work on maybe either making this longer or redistributing it, but it shows, this just shows that it works. So in the future, I can, this will work. I just need to add, I just need to continue working around here. Maybe make this a little longer. My chain was 16. I might make 20, then put it together, and then work my square, and then I have a curly Q in the center of the square like this for kind of a 3-dimensional raised square there, just like that. So I can make a flower, a wreath, a granny square, even though I did mess up on this one a little bit, but this is, I've never done this before, so this is the first time you guys watch me do it right here, because I was kind of thinking outside the box of how I could take this curly Q, turn it into a granny square, and I sure did. I'm proud of myself for doing this today. And this is what we got right here. Even though it looks a little bit wonky, it will work. I know it will work for a fact. I think what I would do too is once I get this part, additional loops and twists done here, I would probably take a needle and sew these front ones together so they match evenly, and so I don't end up with this. But it did work. So I just wanted to share that. That's pretty cool that it worked. And so I think that's it for right now. And if you're new, please subscribe and thumbs up, share this video with your friends, and we will be doing something else again in the future. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. I'd love for you to watch the existing videos that I have, so I can get up there with my watch time. And I'll see you guys the next time. If you have suggestions, leave them in the comment section below, or you know, you write the title of a video if you want to see something that you want me to make. I'll work on it and, you know, try to do the best that I can. So, what's the question we got up here? Ketchup, fridge or pantry? Ketchup. Something about ketchup, fridge, or pantry. I'm not... ketchup. I think you can store ketchup in the fridge and the pantry. I know when I was a kid, working as a waitress in a restaurant, we used to we never put the ketchup bottles in the refrigerator, and they were open. I mean, is that scary? And we would just refill the ketchup bottles. This was at a time when they were just bottles. And nowadays, I think you have plastic more than anything. I don't think they sell glass ketchup bottles, and it was a mess. I tell you, it was a huge mess when when the bottles got dropped on the floor. And that happened often because we would have retired senior citizens who would come in. I loved the senior citizens. I wasn't of the age and that I hear nowadays where there's young people who totally hate senior citizens, and I'm hoping that's not a trend for all young people hating senior citizens. But you know, I loved it when they came in. They were fun to talk to, and they were kind of slower, and they weren't mean. You know, yeah, they might have been a tiny bit grumpy, but it wasn't, you know, most people were strangers. They were nice, you know. Yeah, I mean, the ones who I experienced problems from were more my age, when I was a waitress, when I was a teenager. But the thing is that the bottles of ketchup got dropped on the floor often. It wasn't just a one-time thing. And and it was a mess. And so we had a guy who, Duong Doi, hello. And so we had a guy who would, he was a busboy, and so he would get the mop and bring it down. I think he had to carry it. I mean, because we did not have an elevator, I don't think. If we did have an elevator, it may have been a service elevator that he had access to. I didn't. And so it was almost like, but he was willing to actually wait the tables. He was willing to be a waiter on the tables. But the funny thing about that is there was a woman, and there was one day I went into work, so I'd usually make it, I think I was scheduled for around 3:30, because I would be done from school at 3 o'clock. That was enough time for me to get in my car, drive over to where I was working at. Now the restaurant no longer exists anymore. And so I would get to work there. And so there was one day this woman, and her name was Lila. I loved the name Lila. And so one day Lila, she told me, I loved Lila. She was about 10 years older than me, but I just totally loved this woman. And so she told me, she's like, well, we had the oh gosh, what are they called? The clergy, the priest from the local church had come in to the restaurant, and they said he was experiencing some problems or something. And he always wore this black coat all the time. That's all he wore, was a black coat. And then he had on his, he had like a collar on, and then there was like the little white thing you could see through. So it was almost like the opposite. It was kind of like what the nuns wore too. And so she says, the police had to come and get him, and she said they opened up his coat and he had a whole bunch of ketchup in his jacket. So he was going into the restaurant and he was stealing the ketchup from the counter. And so what Lila had said was that they thought he'd maybe been doing it for a long time, because they kind of noticed that the ketchup bottles sometimes would disappear. And I told her, I said, well, I mean, we had several of them break this past week. I mean, and these were at times, so she would be done about 2:30. Lila was done about 2:30 every day. So she would work from maybe 7, I think 7:30 in the morning, because I did that shift too. So that's a 7-hour shift. Yeah, 7-hour shift. So she wasn't even working 8 hours a day. She was only working 7 hours a day. So I wonder, they must have been part-time help too. 7 hours a day. Let me look and see. Okay, calculator, where are you? 7 hours. 7 times 5 equals, that's 35 hours a week. So I have to wonder, I just bet they kept them on part-time as well. So maybe nobody was full-time, because there was one summer I kind of got in trouble by the boss for working more than 40 hours in the week. So they were keeping us at part-time too. This was way back in the mid to late 1970s. The mid-late 1970s, they were keeping us. So I was more of maybe 20, 25 hours a week. And that was even going to high school. So, so there's no way, unless Lila had another job. That's all she was doing, was 35 hours a week. So the full-time staff, typically they weren't there with us. They would go home, and once we got there for after a period of a period of time, they just did not stay. They trusted us enough to be able to do things, because when we proved to them that we could do it, they wanted out of there. And typically it was 2:30. So one person, when I was doing waitressing, they would come in. One person would come in about 7. I think it was 7:30 was the earliest that they came in to get the restaurant ready, and that was working before the restaurant opened. That was making cheesecake, and that was making pies. That's where I learned about to make the cherry cheese pie. I loved it. But we had to wear these really weird. Nowadays, they almost seem like they wouldn't even be appropriate for work, because the signs would say, ask me about my cherry pie. And so it was almost like it had that connotation to it. Plus, the other thing is that they wanted women wearing white dresses. It was just, Woolworths was like that. They wanted women wearing white dresses, just pure white dresses. They were hard to keep clean, very hard. And I would spill chocolate on it. The chocolate would stain. I had no idea how to get the stain out. And then there was a woman. Well, my mom had a friend, and her sister had passed away. And so she was a nurse, I think. And so my mom asked me if I wanted some of her friend's uniforms for work. And I said, sure, why not? And my mom said, well, she's just giving them away. I'm like, oh, okay. And so they were kind of double knit, like what the other ladies would wear, because the other ladies were wearing slacks. So I started wearing slacks too. And the HR woman, she got upset with me for wearing slacks. And she says, well, we gave you a dress to wear. She says, what you're wearing now looks junky. And so, but the other women still got to wear slacks. And sometimes I thought that maybe it had to do with, because I was young, I was jailbait. And so, so I was thinking that that's a tactic sometimes for them to get people to come into the restaurant, but I wasn't one of the flirty types though either. I wasn't one who was just talking to people at the table just to talk. Now the other ones, they would do that. I just wasn't, because it just didn't. I had a hard time actually even conversing with people at the table, because I didn't know. I thought, I'm there to take their order. I was doing things literally. I was there to take their order and take it back to the kitchen, Our job was to go to the table, make sure they had water and ice, make sure that they had everything that they needed, that they got their coffee and their drinks. Um, I know nowadays, I think they actually ask you if you want your drink if you're at a full service restaurant, which they're becoming more and more far and few between. They're asking people if they want their drinks now or with the meal. So a lot of people, if they don't give you free refills, which they should, um, actually, I think back then, okay, when I was working, we got to drink as much sodas as we wanted to at work because that was one of the perks. We got to eat free food, and we got free sodas as part of our. Um, they told us we could even have sodas while we were working, which we did, and so we could have as much to drink as we wanted to, that or water. We got free ice cream and free pies, and we got to eat free after our shift was over. So I thought, you can't beat that. And then but the people, when they came in, they had to pay for, if they wanted additional drinks, they didn't get free drinks. They just had, like the fountains nowadays, where they offer free drinks for people to come in and drink as much as you want to, related to the sodas. And so we didn't actually, well, we had to charge them extra money for each glass, and the glasses really weren't that big. They were probably an 8-ounce size glass, maybe something like that. And so, yeah, okay, I think that's it for right now. And I've been on here for 30 minutes, and I will see you guys the next time. And if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comment section, and I'll see you guys the next time. Thank you for watching.